Alright. Now, staining only tells us that they are there, no, the organisms are there. But to confirm tuberculosis, we still need the gold standard, which is the culture. Okay. Now, culture is like planting a seed, no, to see if it grows. So for Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the wait is so long. Imagine 2 to 6 weeks pa sila before mag-grow because these guys are slow growers. Okay, culture is the most definitive test, no, for Mycobacterium tuberculosis because or in any bacteria. Okay, because it allows us to not only confirm but also perform drug susceptibility testing. Okay, so we have this Mycobacterium na mga culture media. Okay, we have this agar-based, no, na mga culture media na serum albumin agar media. This is the Middlebrook 7H11, which has a 0.1% casein hydrolysate, which improves the recovery of isoniazid resistant Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay, so it helps, no, it enhances the growth of this isoniazid resistant Mycobacterium tuberculosis with the help of the ingredients 0.1% casein hydrolysate. Okay, also we have the Michison's selective 7H11, which contains the polymyxin B, antibiotics amphotericin B, carbenicillin, and the trimethoprim lactate. Okay, take note of these two. These are the agar-based culture media used to grow our mycobacteria. We also have this liquid media, okay, wherein the mycobacterium organism grow more rapidly in this medium. So it can be used for both primary isolation and even subculturing. Okay, so broth, no, such as Bactec 12B medium and the Middlebrook 7H9 broth and the Middlebrook 7H13. Okay, so in broth, the microorganisms grow 2 weeks. Okay, so 2 weeks results are already available. So the principle of this liquid media, no, is to determine the metabolism of the organism, okay, or the oxygen consumption of the bacteria. Again, the principle of the liquid media or the broth media for the Mycobacterium tuberculosis culture is to determine the metabolism of the organism or their oxygen consumption. Now, the Middlebrook 7H9 broth is for aseptically collected specimens from normal sterile sites. Okay, so if that specimen is collected aseptically, better ang Middlebrook 7H9 broth. Okay, now take note, cultures are examined weekly for growth and reported and discarded as negative or no growth after the 8 weeks of incubation or 2 months of incubation. Alright. Now take note, Middlebrook 7H13, okay, is used for larger volumes of bone marrow or blood specimen. Okay, again, 7H13 na Middlebrook is required to be used, no, for the samples na may mga larger volumes such as bone marrows or mga blood specimens. Okay. Now, another culture media for your mycobacteria is the egg-based, no, na mga medium. This has whole eggs, no, with the potato flour, may glycerol then with malachite green, no, in which ang malachite green serves as an inhibitor for the contaminants. Okay, so we have this egg-based medium Petragnani. Okay, we also have this Lowenstein-Jensen, which is good for the niacin test. This is a biochemical test for confirmation or confirmatory test for your mycobacteria. We also have Dorset egg medium and the American Thoracic Society or the ATS medium. Now, Lowenstein-Jensen is commonly used, no, even in the Philippines. So it gives the classic buff colored colonies, no. So these are the colonies, no, of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis in our Lowenstein-Jensen or the LJ's lands. Okay, so Mycobacterium tuberculosis typically has a crumbly or mga breadcrumbs. Kita na mo mga breadcrumbs, no? They appear as this one. Okay, so the colonies, no, typically are raised. No, they have this dry, rough appearance or mga breadcrumb appearance. So they are non-pigmented, non-pigmented and classically described as buff-colored. Now, whereas the Mycobacterium avium or the MAC Mycobacterium avium complex has a bright yellow, smooth characteristic colonies which are so-called the condom colony. Kita na mo ka ng condom nga wala pagigamit, okay? So mga iyon ana no ang appearance ni Mycobacterium avium complex. So these morphologic features are useful in making presumptive speciation, which is usually confirmed by the DNA probe. Okay? So confirmation ng culture is the DNA probe. All right. Okay. Now let's proceed to the biochemical test of our Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So we confirm MTB using this biochemical test. Now with niacin accumulation, the MTB produces free niacin, turning it into yellow. Okay? So it produces free niacin, turning the medium yellow, which is a hallmark of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Most Mycobacterium possesses the enzyme that converts free niacin to niacin ribonucleotide. However, 95% of Mycobacterium tuberculosis isolates produce free niacin or the nicotinic acid because this species lacks the niacin connecting enzyme. Okay? So the result is yellow pigmented compound. All right. So another biochemical test no for our Mycobacterium tuberculosis is the niacin reduction. Okay, so niacin reduction no the Mycobacterium tuberculosis reduces nitrate to nitrite. All right, the production of nitroreductase, which catalyzes the reduction of nitrate to nitrite, is relatively uncommon among Mycobacterium species. But this is positive, no? Able mag-reduce ng nitrate si Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycobacterium kansasii, Mycobacterium zulgai, and Mycobacterium fortuitum. Okay, so the result of the nitrate reduction is red color. Okay, wala siya sa PowerPoint, but kindly take note. The result, positive result for our nitrate reduction is red color. All right, another test, another biochemical test to confirm our Mycobacterium tuberculosis is the catalase test. Okay, so most mycobacteria are catalase positive except for MTB, no, Mycobacterium tuberculosis loses the catalase activity when heated. Okay, kapag giinitan kayo siya, kapag na-expose siya with heat, alright, the Mycobacterium tuberculosis loses the catalase activity when heated. So it's heat stable catalase negative. Alright, so unsa daw ang temperature at 68 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Okay, so most Mycobacterium complex organisms do not produce heat-stable catalase. Okay, now, semi-quantitation of catalase production no, by using the Twin 80, which is a detergent, with the addition of the 30% hydrogen peroxide and a 2-week-old culture no, of Mycobacterium grown in an agar dip. Okay, now after mixing this no reagents to this culture or the isolates, the reaction is read after 5 minutes. The column size is recorded as greater than or less than 45 millimeter. Okay, so if naa siya column size, then therefore positive siya with the catalase test. That is the semi-quantitation of catalase production. Okay, now another biochemical test no is the Twin 80 hydrolysis. So some species can split Twin 80 detergent producing a pink color. Okay, so some Mycobacteria possesses a lipase that can split the detergent Twin 80 into oleic acid and polyoxyethylated sorbitol. So the pH indicator of the Twin 80 hydrolysis is the neutral red, which is essentially bound to Twin 80 and has an amber color. Okay, na siya amber color. If na-hydrolyze ang Twin 80, which is a detergent, neutral red can no longer bind and it is released, causing a pink color to form. So kapag positive sa Twin 80 hydrolysis, the result is color pink. This test is helpful in distinguishing between mga scotochromogenic and non-photochromogenic mycobacteria. So we will learn them no unsa ni mga chromogenic nagipang-ingon nako. Okay? All right. Now, another biochemical test is the aryl sulfatase test, the aryl sulfatase test. Okay, the principle of this test is it uses tripotassium phenolphthalein, okay, disulfide or sulfate, disulfide or sulfate. So ang end product is a free phenolphthalein. All right, now the result is positive red or pink. Okay, positive result is the red or pink. Now strong, no, sa strong na positive for aryl sulfatase is si Mycobacterium fortuitum chelonii. Okay, so negative for the aryl sulfatase is the Mycobacterium avium complex and the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Again, negative for aryl sulfatase is the Mycobacterium avium complex or si MAC and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay.